for some people, it can be more about food sensitivity issues and maybe some malfunctions that are going on with the digestive process. It's very common for someone not to be making enough stomach acid, and it's very common for someone's bile in this gallbladder to become too thick and sticky to flow correctly. And if either of those components aren't working, then we don't really break the food down the way that we're supposed to break it down. And if food is still having like an identity, then it can get into this intestinal tract through the lining. We see lining issues where we have problems like leaky gut, or maybe there's some type of infection that's like boring a hole in that intestinal tract and allowing these proteins to get through the intestinal tract lining before they're really broken down. And it appears that issues like yeast, mold, fungal issues are the bad guys that seem to be the best at boring those holes through the intestinal lining. But when that food is getting through, then it gets into the system in a way that it's not supposed to be there. It shouldn't still have an identity of, hey, I'm cheese. It should be broken down into vitamins and minerals and amino acids and fats. The body should be digesting that in a way that it really gets broken down so that when it goes into the system, it's just elemental nutrients. It doesn't still have an identity that the body doesn't understand. Yeah, well, we don't know what cheese is. We don't have a use for cheese. This must be an invader. We're going to go to war against this cheese, and it's going to create all of these allergy type reactions or discomforts that can go on. And what's interesting is that if it's not like a lactase issue, maybe it's more of a sensitivity or an allergy to a specific type of food, it can depend on the type of dairy and how much trouble that will create. Like butter and heavy cream, those don't have a lot of the same proteins that other types of dairies may have. And so people who are lactose intolerant, some of them do okay if they have butter or heavy cream or some of these higher fat dairy items that don't contain as many proteins, or they might not have as much of that lactose in it. So depending on the issue that's creating a problem for them, the type of dairy, they may do okay with some and not so great with others. And when there's this stomach acid malfunction where the stomach is not making enough acid to help us break down our food properly, then that barrier is also gone. The stomach acid is the barrier that keeps all the bad guys from coming in. So if we're having bad bacteria and other varmints coming in and then setting up camp in the stomach or in the small intestine, then that can create a lot of problems. Some people feel like maybe it's not that this good bacteria is not in the gut that helps us process this lactose in a proper manner or makes the enzymes that help us process that lactose. Maybe it's that there's too many bad guys there that have kind of taken over the town, and maybe the good guys just can't do their job because we have either a small intestinal bacterial overgrowth or a SIBO issue, or more bad bacteria making it down into the large intestine, or where our good gut flora are there to help us process these foods the way that they should be processed.